Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm going to do a holster comparison today that I wish I would have done a long time ago. Finally got some stuff in today that I wanted to compare and contrast. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare and contrast a really expensive holster plus $200 versus a $65 to $70 holster that's online, and you could probably get it on Amazon as well. So we're comparing a Simply Rugged holster versus a 1791 holster, who I think is a fairly new to me. I mean, I haven't seen them that long, but it's a newer manufacturer. I've worked with a Simply Rugged holster for probably a couple years now. I like them. I was introduced to them at Gunsight in Arizona, and I bought a couple since then. I really like them. They're great holsters. I'm not knocking them in any way, shape, or form. I took a gamble on an email notification that I had for 1791. I said, hey, I'll give them a shot. They're pretty affordable. What's the worst that can happen if I buy a shit holster? And I'll do a video later of all the holsters I have. And trust me when I tell you, I probably have more holsters than I care to admit, because there's a situation for everything that you're going to need a different holster. Sometimes you need outside, sometimes you need inside, sometimes you need appendix, sometimes not, sometimes you need a whole shoulder rig. You get where I'm going with this, but there is a lot of them, and let's talk about them. I'm going to switch the camera around so we can see what's what. Okay, so continuing on, we are going to cover the first brand, which is Gunsight. Excuse me, not Gunsight. It is Simply Rugged holsters, which are a pretty premium brand when it comes to leather holsters. They make some really rough, ruggedized holsters that are going to literally withstand the test of time. So I wanted to highlight this because there is a resemblance that they share, but for the price point, I was pretty blown away at what I got versus what I'm comparing this to. So let's talk about this brand a little bit more and back it up so you get a little difference. I bought this holster in particular because I needed a holster for my Glock 19, Glock 17 that also fit a TLR 7 holster, or light, excuse me. And it just so happened that I run the Align Tactical thumb rest on it, the pedal that they have. So this holster from Simply Rugged definitely fits the 17 and the 19 quite comfortably. Okay, it's super thick leather. They don't fucking chintz you out like they do on Galco. While Galco has definitely some ready-made holsters you can get off the shelf, I'm really losing faith in them because they simply don't make a lot of holsters that run optics. Simply Rugged also does not necessarily simply run optics, but hold on, babe. They don't always make it. You have to order it, but you can order it from the website. It's a pretty simple process because most of these holsters are made to order, unless you order from their to-go gear page. They do have a page on Simply Rugged's website where you can go in and order stuff right off the shelf. It's already made. If you want something custom, they'll get it done pretty fast too. So this holster was, can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe it was very close to $200, if not just a smidge over. The other one that I just ordered recently for my Wilson Combat, most definitely over $200. And it was pretty much of the same quality. Really good holsters. Okay, you can't complain about that at all. I love how incredibly thick this holster is. Now, I don't necessarily have a unit with me to measure this thing because I epically failed on that portion, but let me see if I could use a reference point. Okay, see how thick the holster is compared to this regular ballpoint pen. It's pretty massively thick, right? It's actually probably pretty much for the width of the pen. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. So that's thick, right? Like, that's definitely going to be sturdy. It's going to be solid. It's not going to sag on you. It's not going to give away with time. With wearing it, it's going to get softened up, but it's not going to necessarily give out on you. So you can see how densely thick the holster is, okay? This is a premium top shelf holster that I considered the best of the best, okay? Now, let me go grab the other one. Okay, this is the 1791 holster that I ordered for a Beretta 92 Brigadier. which, by the way, I'm going to highlight, it's absolutely very difficult to find a holster for a Brigadier. Okay, now this holster has the Langdon, or excuse me, this particular Beretta has the Langdon tactical slide on there. So it's basically the same dimensions at a regular 92, not quite as thick as the Brigadier, but you know what? When I looked up the specs, both through Google and through ChatGPT, other avenues, they're about 1.3 to 1.5 inches thick, give or take. I don't know how much wiggle room they have for that. I can't imagine it's a lot because it's a pretty spec'd out gun. I mean, there were government contracts that ran on this particular platform, so I would assume they'd have to be pretty spot on. The kicker is the optic though, right? Like with this optic riding on it, you can't use just any off-the-shelf holster that Safariland makes or Beretta makes or anything like that. There are some other holsters that will necessarily fit it, sure. They could necessarily be snatched off the shelf, but again, you want to make sure everything is fitting nice and everything fits clean and then also fits comfortably when you're wearing the thing. So, things that throw it off would be the suppressor sights. Okay, the holsters don't always fit if you have a suppressor sight on there. The thicker slide, although this isn't as thick as the Brigadier, I don't have it handy with me off the top of my hand so I can show you the thickness of each. Oh, hold on one second. So again, I don't know how necessarily thick the slide to the Brigadier is different, but this one is just a very smidge thinner. If not, it feels thinner. I don't know. Again, I'm not a gunsmith. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know the thickness difference. I just know that a Brigadier holster generally doesn't fit a 92FS holster, even though they're both 92FSs. One's just the Brigadier. So, 1791 holster comes in. They claim that they have a holster, the 2.4 optic model, that will fit a Beretta 92. So I said, well, they don't necessarily make the Brigadier model, but fucking let's just roll the dice, right? Let's just see how much it fits. I mean, this, if I remember right, was a $65 holster. $65, right? Like compared to the other holster, holy moly, that's a big price difference, right? And let's check the thickness on this. That's what she said. Yeah, it's actually as thick, if not thicker, than the other holster was. I think side by side, we could probably tell the difference. Maybe, I don't know if I have enough lighting here to cover this, but to me, it almost feels like they're identical, if not just, one's just slightly thicker than the other. And in the premium holster game, that's a huge difference, right? Huge difference. I think we can all debate this in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, but I think they're just about the same. Price point, right? Price point, much more affordable everyday option. Premium option if you want some particular stamping and stuff like that from the training school or the gun school that you went to. Now, I know for Gunsight alumni, that's a big deal to have the Raven, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, and we'll talk about Gunsight another day, but in particular, I just got this gun, so it fits hella snug, right? We got to stretch it out a little bit. We got to wear it for a while. But for the price point and the way that it fits the gun right off the bat, right? Trigger's basically covered. And I say basically because it's just sticking out just a little bit right there. But for the most part, it's covered. It's decocked all the way, so that's how far the trigger going to move forward. I don't have any extra enhanced levers or anything like that on the Beretta itself, so it fit basically right out of the box. I am going to notice that the optic doesn't rest on the face of the holster itself. Let me see if I can zoom in. See, there is just a little bit of a gap from where the trigger guard stops at the seat of the holster to basically where the front face is on the optic. So fits really good, as I think as it should. But yeah, this is again $60 compared to the other one that's just around 200-ish. Let me compare and contrast the mag pouches now, right? We're going to compare mag pouches. This is, again, Simply Rugged. Okay, ordered it from their website for the 1911 magazines. But still, I think right off the bat, we're already going to notice that there is a considerable density difference between the two. Let me zoom in and see if I can get these angles correctly. Okay, let's look at that side by side right there. Okay, I think the 1791 holster already fits just a little bit thicker. And Not gonna lie, I dismissed 1791 holsters because I thought they were gonna be like Galco, just, you know, stamped, pressed, and shoved out the door. But that's not the case, and I think we can clearly see that the seal of the holster, the way that those two are smushed together, that's a pretty big difference. Embroidery work looks great, right? Everything matches just fine. But yeah, there is some definite difference between the two holsters. I think they look great. They both look great, right? They each fit the sorry, I hit the stop button on accident, but I think they all fit just fine. Okay, notice the 1791 holster is actually double stitched, and the Simply Rugged one is a single stitch. So good points there on 1791 also. The brass hardware, maybe not my favorite, but I guess it could be dealt with, considering everything else seems to be far better. For the double stack mags, we have two, what are they, Chicago screws? I think they're Chicago screws. And the Simply Rugged comes with one. So, very big difference between the two. This one was 40 bucks. This one was probably in the ballpark of 60-ish. So 40 to 60, kind of nil, kind of a moot point, but still, I think they both match together. And then when you navigate the 1791 website, you can bundle these two together so that the colors match right off the bat. It's a pretty simple process. Simply Rugged, you got to make sure you dig a little bit more. This is the ox blood color, and you definitely want to make sure that you match your leathers accordingly. See, there's the stamp right there, Simply Rugged. So you want to make sure that you match your ox blood accordingly. If you're going to order ox blood mag pouches, make sure you order ox blood holster. But yeah, so here's the difference between the two brands. One more, the 1791 is definitely more affordable. The Simply Rugged is more premium, but definitely handled by one person. I don't know the manufacturing process of 1791, but this is definitely not a Galco brand. Okay, this is not at all stamped like Galco's is. Let me grab a Galco holster to compare and contrast. Okay, this is the Galco, I want to say their Rangemaster. This one is pretty much one of their flagship ones, but it is definitely not anywhere in the ballpark of the other two. I think this leather is far thinner, right? Far thinner. Just look at how thin that press is. I mean, it's kind of like, it's almost, yeah, see, it's not even the thickness of the black portion of the pen, whereas the other ones are like little double thick. That's what she said. Comparing the two, yeah, not even close. It's as if the Galco is the first layer of the two layers on the 1791 holster. Far different. Not even in the same region, not even the same zip code. Don't pass go, don't collect $200 on this, right? Also, this holster does have a lot of mileage on it, so I've had this holster for several years already, and yeah, it's standing the test of time, sure, just like I believe any leather holster should, but it's floppy, right? Floppy. Maybe that's just because of the denigration of time, but at the same token, I don't believe either of these other two holsters are going to have that as well. So, shove my Wilson Combat in there. And yes, it's a Wilson. It's not just Wilson grips. Okay. And the gun is clear. I know it's a single action. I don't want you homos out there thinking, oh my god, we have to tell him that his gun's loaded, because it's not. Okay, it's fucking clear. So, I just think that the weight of this pistol, when you carry it, it causes the gun to cant just a little bit like that. Just a little bit. It leans over just a little bit. So you gotta wear your belt a little extra tighter, and I think that's because of the softness of the leather, because never had that issue with the Simply Rugged holster, and I can't imagine that I'm gonna have that with the 1791 holster. So anyways, okay, so thanks for listening to my rant about leather holsters. I mean, who the hell wears leather holsters anyways? I sure do, because I think Kydex can be a pain in the ass after a couple hours of wearing it. I think it definitely has its application. I think it has its purpose, but for carrying it long term, like numerous hours, I've done maybe 11 to 12 hours of carrying this, and this particular one, not as comfortable at the end of the day. Simply Rugged, you can wear it all day long, all day strong, and I'm pretty sure the 1791 is going to be the same way. So anyways, I hope these 3 different guns, you had a striker fired, you had a double action, single action, you had a single action comparison of the loop of guns that are pretty much normally carried by me. And hopefully you can help decide and help make your choice on what you are going to pick for your holster. Although I'm definitely between $17.91 because of the price point and Simply Rugged because of the durability on it. So anyways, peace out.